Why is it always raining when I decide to record? Anyways, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Obliteration Redux. Thankfully, we don't have to go out in this rain, because most of the opening to this will be taken inside, and I can just kind of try to let this pass. But today we are going to be making a bunch of trees. And the reason we're making trees is, of course, because the landscaping that we did last week. Time means nothing to me now, which is why we've added on the tree wing that I ran past last week to get to the moss. But we now have the tree area of our storage system. And comically enough, we are mostly going to be using birch leaves, even though I have a bunch of dark oak and spruce leaves that... Well, so many actually that is this... That's acacia. Where's dark oak? Dark oak I think is over here. Yeah, so many in fact that I just started keeping the bulk sum of like these leaves in different chests in shulker boxes. So there's like 4 shulkers out there with a bunch of spruce leaves in them that we won't be using. Well, we'll be using it from the shulkers, but we probably won't even need to tap into this chest at all. But I'm going to need to do some, I believe, deforestation for, yeah, I need oak and I need a good deal of acacia logs. No, wait. Yeah, it's acacia, right? Yeah. Yeah. And I need a good deal of acacia logs, as well as rooted dirt, which only comes from azalea trees. And actually, just a second, I need to see how much I have, because I have some in some random storage. Okay, so I just searched through all of my chests, and I think this might be all the rooted dirt we have, which is only 60. So I'm actually going to have to go and hunt for more of this in order to reconstruct the path. I said it needed a little bit of love, and I wasn't lying, because I'm going to be completely redoing it. But while I go and farm up some acacia trees to get at that sweet, sweet gray wood, or gray bark, and while I go and farm out some rooted dirt, let's switch over to the creative testing world so I can show you guys how I designed the trees we're going to be using in this forest and why we're going to be using birch leaves and dark oak and oak leaves and that kind of stuff. So let's pop over there. Alright, so here we have our creative world. These are the specimen that we will be replicating. And it's really quite simple. I feel like I say that a lot, but it really is. It's quite simple. These are our oak trees, our spruce trees, a tree that I saw on a walk, and another tree that I saw on a walk that I don't know the species of yet, either of these. This is a wet stripped stump because I wound up actually seeing a lot of these when I was walking around. They're just, maybe we could thematically even add like, away from the stumps might consistently be like a tree that's fallen over. Something like that, and then it's added to like the underbrush. Like the tree's added to the underbrush or something like that, and it's just slowly being consumed by nature. And then here is a torn stump, because I also end up seeing a lot of these. Ignore the fact that it's a stair that is not a wood type that it should be. From a distance, this actually looks quite a bit like if it were still covered in bark at the top, or if the top bit was the inner wood. Because for some reason oak wood has a very, 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 very bright interior. Oh, right. Oh, right. Well, that demonstration did not go well. Anyways, these are what we're going to be recreating. I'm going to be using oak logs for most of the stuff. Like these will be acacia logs. These will be acacia logs, but at these fulcrum points, I'm going to try to use the wood variant, because few people know this, but there is in fact a wood variant for every log, where the bark wraps around the entire block. Much like these actually I don't care so much if say this block here is still a log, because you can't really see it, and you're never going to be able to, because you're not really going to be that high in the forest. And then this is an oak tree. It is using oak leaves, where this is using spruce leaves, and these are using birch leaves because of how they look in winter. I like the way that these turn brown. But this is using oak leaves, And we have spruce fences because it matches the bark type very well. And then up here we just have it leaning in whichever direction it wants. So this is because I found a lot of trees, I'm just going to use a spruce log, where like they could be growing this way. So you think that like, oh, the leaves will jet out in this direction, right? Like there'll just be a bunch of leaves in that direction. And then for some reason, like the leaves, they come out here a little bit, like they poof out to support the canopy a little bit. And then they just jut out this way instead. I think it's a sun thing. I don't know, but I highly suspect that it's something to do with the tree fighting other trees for sunlight, but also dealing with its own system and how it's purchased in the dirt. And beyond that, we are going to be using packed mud, of course. We are going to be using rooted dirt, which is why I need to get more of it. I don't know why I have coarse dirt in my inventory. We will be using dark oak saplings for little bushes. Azalea bushes for bigger bushes. We will be covering the ground in underbrush, and eventually, hopefully, we will end up getting a bunch of grass and ferns, and most of the floor will be comprised of podzol and moss. Reason being is that actually, as I mentioned before, a lot of times when you're walking through the woods, there isn't really grass. There's just a bunch of falling leaves, and what looks better than fallen leaves than a whole lot of podzol. And to illustrate how well this works, I actually made a mock forest that we've seen little glimpses of, but now I'll show you it in whole. This is the underbrush I'm talking about. We will be using stuff like jungle leaves in it and mangrove leaves to really sell that look of a bunch of different plants being down here. But most importantly, we'll have these little bush caps. And what's important about these is that down there is some glow lichen. And with shaders on, the light from that glow lichen can't be seen, but the effects of it around here still take effect. So this area, if I set it to night, this area, dang it, it's the Aurora Borealis again. 1 second. There we go. Now it's dark. Now it's properly dark. This area here, if we were to get rid of this light. Oh, and also this doesn't need to be here either. There we go. It can be a spooky, dark forest with absolutely no light sources visible. And yet, if we turn on our shader pack settings to show us where mobs can spawn at night, we end up with this, where because of these glow lichen that are pretty conspicuously hidden, we actually wind up with an area that is completely spawn-proofed while being absolutely 100% dark by the viewer's perspective. So I personally really like that idea, and to show you the trees now, I'm going to turn off this really quickly and set time to day. So now, to show you the forest, it's actually quite nice. I've ended up trying to get that dappled look, and I think it's worked really well. It's not quite the dark and spooky forest where even in the daytime it appears to be night that I wanted it to be, but add a little bit of soul lanterns and some other creepy stuff, and then we can get it to look like that dark, ominous fairy tale forest. And realistically, I mean, this doesn't look half bad, really. I quite enjoy this aesthetic of the one tall trees and the just like thick underbrush. I really love the ground cover stuff. And like, I'm going to be doing a bunch of these, like logs that have been chainsawed in half or just axed in half because, you know, we don't have chainsaws. Just axed in half in order to make it so that you can actually walk through the path. And then off the path, as soon as you walk off, there's just ferns and grass everywhere. That immediately makes travel difficult. But maybe, hey, maybe there will be secrets. Maybe there will be secrets hidden in the paths that you can walk around the underbrush in. So, like here, like this area, you can just walk through this sapling. So maybe like you're walking along the path, and then suddenly a bandit. Ooh. Hide from the bandit. I don't know. I'm coming up with random stuff that I've been D&D starved. But also, as you can see, we have our broken stumps, which I think add a lot to the environment. Not being a full tree, actually allowing a full tree to be around them without crowding up the space above it. I thought that was a bird. I thought I was like, oh, that's a bird. I don't have a bird mod installed. This is the decayed stump, which I also think looks very nice. And then the canopy looks like this. So from above, it'll actually be pretty interesting. We've got a lot of color here. It's all green, but we have a lot of color here. And I think that we can actually get this going pretty quickly. Now, I will note that I know it's technically a lot of canopies start at the same height, but from my own walks, that wasn't always the case. You'd see the oak trees start to bloom out a bunch of leaves at a pretty early level and then suddenly explode like this at the top. But all spruce trees or pines or whatever they might be tend to have a pretty consistent arrow shape. So the top of its canopy is pretty small, but it starts out really big pretty low. So where all of these have their own stray little leaves coming out, this one should be different because that looks funky. There we go. Where all of these have their own stray little leaves coming out at the bottom, that's just little strays that like you might see coming off the side of the tree. And then it gets bigger and bigger to the point where the canopy kind of does start at the same height, but not quite. All of the trees have a little bit of variation, and I'm going to try to bring that over to the survival world. Hey, look, another stump. But yeah, this is the goal. I'm going to be probably making a grass farm sometime as well this week and just not showing it on camera because those are pretty boring, as well as a fern farm if I can. But yeah, this is what we're going to be trying to put to insert into the entirety of that landmass with a big clearing around the edge of each rock. And I think I'm going to kind of constrict the nylium to specifically the rocks. I think that that's a good idea, especially after I put all of the, I recently put a bunch of glow lichen on them, so they look a lot more magical. Like, you'll be able to see them glowing. But with these, you'll just see every now and then a solitary little lantern. Anyways, let's get to work. Alright, so it's the next day, and I have successfully gathered all of the resources that we will need to be using. Not sure... Okay, so this is ground cover. This is our actual ground and our grass and ferns and stuff. I converted the micro wheat farm that I showed off last episode, the like hyper fast one. I converted that into a rapid fire fern and grass farm. You just need to place them where they are. And then this is, of course, a bunch of our spruce leaves with our spruce trees. And this is our lighting box. So when we actually get around to putting in lighting inside of the bushes and stuff, we're going to be using that box because it's got all the glow lichen and like, what is that? 1 second. It's like a stack and a half of lanterns, almost 2 stacks of lanterns. And we're just going to be lighting along the trail primarily. So I'm going to try to get started on remaking the trail to be like this kind of 1 block path, and then building out from the trail the tree line, and then building out from the tree line more trees and more trees and more trees and more trees until this entire hillside is covered in trees. Let's begin. this is the way that I'm making it, or this is why I'm making it with so many different leaves, because now it's autumn. And goodness, this looks pretty. We have the floor. I haven't been replay recording for a while because I still have still got all this to cover. So I'm figuring I'm gonna just do little pockets, but this is gonna go in like right after this second recording, I think. But yeah, really nice. And then if we look down at the tree line, it's not all the same color. It's like nice and different shades. The issue that I had with using acacia leaves is that they actually don't change that much in the seasons. Yeah, so this though is very nice. And there. I think that's the last block. Okay. I'm going to do a quick shot from far away. Oh, and it's night. Oh, perfect. This is kind of designed for this. There's the mound. The 2 stones. Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. There we go. Okay. Yep. Okay. Just go down here. One, I like how when it snows and the ice freezes, now this river glows. Very neat. But did we get the effect we were looking for of spooky dark forest? There's going to be lanterns on a bridge, so we don't need to worry about that. Ominous lighting. You can barely see through the tree line. Yes. Yeah. And it looks like that. All right, now I'm going to sleep and make it day so we can see it better. And I might skip to spring. I might just sleep skip to spring. All right, so from here, this is the winter look after snowfall too. Not bad at all. And the winter look during the day. Ah, the sounds too. I like how we can actually see through the tree line in the day. Like it's at night, it seems like it's ominous and leering, which is exactly what I want. There's an Enderman here. There's an Enderman here. Don't steal my... You're stealing my block, you get... Get over here. Yep, there you are. There you are. Burn. 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 Stop taking my blocks. I spawn-proofed this area. Where'd he go? He took my grass. Way to ruin the vibe, guys. There we go. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's put away the sword. Now, to do this normally, we have the sounds, the grass, the falling leaf effect. That's nice. We have a fallen log. I meant to add more of these, but I think that just the one is enough. This beaten path, and it all leads out to what will be a very small bridge. I'm paranoid. Okay. Okay. Beyond this, there's a few little secrets, if I can find them. Yeah, we have little passageways to this, like, clearing here. And even this looks really nice. And then we go back through. And there's more secrets. There's more secrets to show you guys. Over here. Another little clearing. I might add like a stump and like a... I don't know. I might do like a custom model of a violin or something, like someone comes here and plays the violin. That'd be very fun. That'd be nice. Or an ocarina, very Legend of Zelda style. Oh, or I can... Okay, so real quick, to those of you who have watched for a while, you know that I used Wavebreaker 2, and that I said I had something special in mind for the big... to remake the big pine tree. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit in this forest anymore. But what I was going to do is I was going to put Wavebreaker inside the big pine tree. So now that I don't know where to put Wavebreaker, I might put Wavebreaker and Nocturnal on rocks. Because now I'm using a thing called Obliteration. This is my new sword. It's beautiful. It's got a better attack sequence in my opinion. But let's continue exploring this, and then I'll go do that at the end of the episode. We have here our portal to the mines. Thank you, Waystones. And then we walk through a little passageway. And once again, we're in a nice little clearing. With these alien rocks. Alright, now I'm going to sleep through, and we're going to see this in the season of spring, and then I think we're going to be done. We've already seen a lot of it in autumn, based on how much I recorded in replay, so that should be enough for you guys, I think. Oh, and I can finally take care of these. And now we can look at this in the spring. So we've just skipped a season by aggressively sleeping. And now this is actually what the woods looks like from the top. Very much like that pleasant mythical or fantasy look. And thankfully, it's coming about sunset, so we can walk down here, and we can see what it looks like under nightfall. Of course, one would say much different than the winter version, because it's less bright, like there's less white around here. It's a lot more green and spooky, especially with the soul lanterns here. And I will note that I did a little trick. So, to those of you who don't know, if you leave Nylium out, or even if you leave Glow Lichen out, Glow Lichen doesn't produce heat to make it so that snow stops. So I have a texture pack on, or a resource pack, that turns string invisible. If anyone knows a better way of keeping snow off of blocks than putting string a block above it, because that's kind of questionable, please let me know. Please, I need to know. If there's like a mod that makes it so that Lichen produces heat, like one block of heat so that it doesn't get itself covered up, that'd be great. The string is problematic, as I ran a couple of tests throughout the winter on it, because I noticed that my Nylium was getting turned into netherrack. That's a tongue twister. I noticed that my Nylium was getting turned into netherrack, and that sucks. But this is the woods, and honestly, I don't think that there's... I was afraid that there was going to be an overabundance of gray trees, but I think that it just kind of melds all together. Let's go check in on the other rocks, if I can find the little secret passages. And as I mentioned before, this is just to the mines, so I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have a passage here anyways, so why not make it all spooky? Yeah. We have ourselves rocks. And a beautiful night sky. And thankfully, the forest actually does look a little spooky, because it's not the Aurora Borealis like it was consistently throughout the winter. I do really like this. I think that we have done a very good job in constructing this canopy. Now, I'm going to note again, I will note for the first time, I don't know if I said this before, this is by far, like, I don't like doing organics, and this is by far the biggest build that we've done so far on this world. Admittedly, it is the same kind of procedural trees, but each one has slight variation that makes it unique, and I have not counted how many trees there are. I don't know how many trees there are. There's a lot, and I actually ran out of them towards the end, and I wound up having to go and do like 3 stacks of deforestation and then like 5 stacks of leaves for the oak alone. That turned into a problem, especially for this corner over here. But this part of the forest is finally done. Then we're going to try to chip away at this hill to make it look as normal as possible for this to come down. And then we're going to have a little bridge that goes across our lovely, lovely river here, a lovely riverbed. And then we're going to start making this side of the river. Eventually. I will say eventually. My plan for next episode is to probably get to work on a little bit, at least a little bit, of the first city. Because we kind of just left it there. And like... I don't want to leave projects half done. You know what I mean? So, we're at least going to be making houses, if not the cathedral. And I say that because I don't think I can have the time or power. I don't think I have the time to do the cathedral, potentially. It might take several episodes just to get it done, because it's going to be a really, 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 really absurdly big building. But yeah, if you like watching builds like this, then a like and subscribe is always appreciated. And if you've made it this far into the video, then hey, you probably already are, honestly. But yeah, I'm going to get the fullness of this all wrapped up into a nice little blender for you guys. And I think this might be it. I don't have anything else to do to this. Oh, we do have one more thing. Remember how I mentioned that I wanted to do something with Wavebreaker and with Nocturnal? Well, I have them in my inventory. I have them in my backpack. I'm not going to cut that. So for those of you who are unaware, this is Wavebreaker. It is our sword that helped us start this and finish this fight, and this is Nocturnal. I have to enter into F5 mode to show you guys. This is Nocturnal, a sword that later replaced Wavebreaker and was very, very neat. This, however, is Obliteration. It's based on the sword Ruin from Weapons of Miracles, and its moveset is just a little bit better than Nocturnal's. So, that's the gist. But I have a way of memorializing all of these. Yeah, that works exactly how I thought it was going to work. That's pretty nice. Nothing too big, nothing too fancy. Just a sword. Just occurred to me. Do I have moss carpet on me? I don't. Okay, we'll steal this. Yeah! Okay, I'm gonna get some moss carpet, and then I'm gonna fix up Wavebreaker. Goodness gracious. Okay, so things are still spawning. I thought I spawn-proofed all of it. How unfortunate. Boom. There we go. Now it just looks like it's kind of floating above the rock, ever memorialized. Very nice. And now I need to find a place to put this moss carpet. There we go. Yeah, lovely. So that worked out way better than I expected. And it also worked out for Nocturnal way better than I expected. And I am still thinking I might get, like... I might try to find the armor stand mod that they are using in Hermitcraft. Just so that I can have a little... like... I don't know, maybe a little piece of stone here, or like a stone slab. And then leaning on the slab is like a goat horn, like someone comes here and plays while the sun comes down through the clearing. That's really pretty. I like that. I didn't mean to do that. That's really nice. But yeah, to make it look as though someone sits here and just like plays their horn. Or perhaps make like an easel, like a little artist easel with a piece of paper on it. But yeah, I believe that is all for today. We have made the beginnings of what I originally called Blackwood, and what I'm not sure what I'm going to call it now, besides, I don't know, I could do the Black Forest. Well, no, that's already taken by the, country of Germany. The Dark Forest? I don't know. Actually, yeah, here we go. This will be the call to action. Drop a comment on what you think that this should be called. The one that I think is the best, and by that I mean the one with the most likes, or the only one there, will become the name of the forest, but not if it has no relation to do with the forest. Like, I'm not going to name the woods Big Chungus Land, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, keep that in mind, but come up with an actual, like, fantasy-inspired name for this woods. Because I currently can't. But to be fair, I have just spent 2 days of placing wood. So of course I can't. My brain is rotting. Yeah. Oh, and to those of you who are curious as to how we're doing this, I think I already showed this off at the beginning of the episode. Mobs could hypothetically spawn if it weren't for the glow lichen. So since we have the glow lichen in here, this entire forest is spawn-proofed meticulously. Like, because we're covering it in glow lichen, which is why I was super ticked that it went away in the snow, which is why we now have a bunch of string covering it. If there is a better way to cover this, please, someone, let me know. Anyways, it's starting to rain. I'm going to get a very thematic ending, or a very dramatic ending. And I'm going to say this is a good place to cut the episode. We didn't do much this episode. Well, okay, I did a lot, but it might turn out to be a small episode in comparison to what it normally is. But I will say, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to get this thing making a bunch of yellow squares out of my hand. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. And Solo Deo Gloria.